everybody, this is David with your Tip Thursday. Today I wanted to come to you guys and talk to you guys about safety. It's one of those things that we go over when you first join and start volunteering, but it's one of those things that we always need to constantly be reminded of. So I just want to remind you guys of that. So first and foremost, make sure that you guys are wearing your t-shirt and your lanyard every week. So the reason that I ask you guys to do this is because the first thing that people who are outside of the church, who have never gone to church before, the first thing that they ask is, are my kids going to be safe when they come here? And we want to present that as much as possible, and we want to be a safe place as much as possible. So one of the ways that we do that is if you guys are all wearing your t-shirts each weekend, even if you just put it on when you're here serving and then take it off later, that is one way that people just know that people who all have on the same shirt probably are some sort of group. And then also with the lanyards, it just shows that you guys have gone through some sort of background check, some sort of screening. So we want to present that in the best way possible, and we want kids to know when they come here who they can ask for help and all that stuff. So just want to make sure that parents and families are very comfortable when they come. So that's the reason that we're doing that, because that's part of the mission of Christ, is to help people love God who are far from Him, who don't know Him, and the best way for us to do that, especially to start off with, is make sure that we're being safe. So please make sure you're doing that. Along with that, make sure you're wearing your lanyards each week. Reminder that the green lanyards are for people who are over 18. If you are here and you are under 18, you have a brown lanyard. And if you have a brown lanyard and you're over 18, that means you haven't been background checked yet. And let's make sure that we get that all squared away, because, and reminder, every 2 years we renew those. So I've just renewed a bunch of people's the last couple months, so just remember to do that. Then I just want to go over our rules really quickly. So remember to make sure that you're here, t-shirt on, lanyard on, and make sure that we follow these rules. So one of those rules is never be alone with a child. No matter what happens, there should always be another volunteer with you, whether that's a teen volunteer or a high school volunteer. And sometimes we can, if there's like 4 kids in a room, we can open up a room to start off the day if we're waiting on a couple other volunteers to show up. But then if those volunteers don't show up, then we need to combine first and second grade into one room, so that we're making sure that we have multiple people in the room that are watching the kids and making sure that they're safe. And then whenever we're running kids to the bathroom or whatever, you're going to be out in the hallway the whole time. You're not to go into the bathroom at all. The only people that are going to go into the bathroom are if it's an emergency situation, and if we need to go in there, it's going to be a female that goes in there, but even then we're going to have another person go in as well. Or in the case of some sort of emergency responder, then we'll let them into the bathroom. But otherwise, we don't need to be in the bathroom with our kids. Our kids are old enough to be able to handle all that stuff themselves. So make sure that you are staying outside in the hall and being clear, and making sure that the restrooms are clear as well. We put up signs that say that they're only supposed to be children's restrooms, especially on Sunday mornings, but that's not always the case. So make sure you go down there and that we're keeping the restrooms clear of adults and all that stuff. Number 2, married couples, they're kind of viewed as one entity, and so we want to protect you guys as much as possible, and we want to protect the kids. So that's why we just have this thing where we're just going to have 2 people in the room no matter what, and if those 2 people happen to be married, we're going to have another person in there just to protect, and so that there's no accusations that are ever thrown at any of us. We just want to make sure that we're protecting the kids as best as possible. Remember, that's why people are willing to drop off their kids. They want to know that they're safe when they're here. We also have this rule, you serve twice in a room with someone that's served 2 months or more before you're serving alone. That's just one of those things that we like to do to make sure that people are well equipped and prepared to lead and to do small groups on their own. So that is in there as well. Number 8, never have a child sit on your lap. The reason for this is because, again, people from outside or people that don't necessarily know you don't know that your kid is in the room with you. And so while that may be normally okay, we're not going to do that just because we don't want parents seeing a leader having a child in their lap. That looks very odd, and we just want to protect you guys as leaders, and we don't want any accusations. And so again, because parents don't necessarily know that you are the parent of another child, we want to make sure that we're protecting you. Along with that, only side hugs, no full frontal hugs. You know, I know it's hard with kids. Sometimes they run in and they just give you a hug. I am guilty of this every week. That happens, but I do the best I can to just give them a side hug to make sure that's normal. Again, because parents don't know that, you know, you're an every week volunteer that sees the kids every week necessarily, or that you're the elementary pastor in my case, or that you're the parent of one of the children that is coming up and hugging you. Now, of course, if there are always extenuating circumstances, but make sure that we're not doing full frontal hugs, because it's just not the norm. Also, no roughhousing. Boys can get a little bit crazy on this, but we want to make sure that we are protecting our kids and making sure that they're safe again, so no roughhousing. And then also just make sure that if you are under 14, you're not going to lead a small group on your own, but if you're over 14, you can. You just have to make sure that you're following all the things, that you believe all the things, and that we're teaching and all that stuff. So I just want to remind you guys of those things. Thank you guys so much for leading well and helping our kids and families feel welcomed and safe when they're here. Love you guys, and I will see you guys this weekend. We're going to have a great weekend. We're going to be talking about accepting others, and I can't think of a better topic for this video. So I will see you guys this weekend. Bye.